We're live on Spiritual Psychics TV with Paul Bannister and his guests for Spiritual Talk.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Thursday night's Spiritual Talk. We are live here on SPTV. It's fantastic to be here as well. Guys, I'm so excited. I haven't laughed so much in my pre-intro to our guest we've got on tonight. He is a fantastic man. He's got a big heart. You're gonna love him tonight, our guest. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we go live, just so all the platforms are lined together, don't forget to let us know where you're coming in from. Come and say hello to us. Come and say hello to our guest, who will be on very, very soon. I know you're going to be thrilled to find out who that is if you don't know already. And don't forget to share as well, guys. We really appreciate your support, your enthusiasm as well, because I know you love Spiritual Talk on a Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Because where else would you be? Where would you want to be, I should say, other than watching us here on SPTV? And did you know, guys, we are also now on TikTok. Richard is doing a lot of lives on TikTok, so look out for that, especially if you want a mini reading or a single card reading. Have a little look out for that, because I know Richard's on there tomorrow night. Hi, Chloe. I can see Chloe's come on TikTok. That's fantastic. I know we've got TikTok live tonight. I'm just waiting for the comments to come up on Facebook before I introduce our guest. I can't see nothing at the moment. Richard's in the background tonight. He's here with us, helping us. And Ems, she's joined from TikTok. Hi, Ems. Good to see you here. Don't forget, guys, if you're watching live on TikTok, come and say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. Hi, Terry. And she's put good evening. Good to see you. And also Caroline May coming in from Dagenham. Good old Dagenham. Good old Dagenham. And Line, hello Line, she's coming in. I believe you're from California, am I right? And Sarah, good evening to you, Sarah. Lovely to see you here. And hi Donna, it's great to see you all the way from Leeds. And yeah, I will do. That's a good idea. I've got Claire. Hi Claire from Norwich. I'm actually going to bring our guest in now, guys, and maybe we can do a few hellos with us too. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is a TV personality, author and mentor, but he's also more known for being an international medium. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Traynor. Hi, David.
Hi. Thanks for having me, Paul. Nice to see you.
Oh, it's brilliant to have you on. I don't know if you want to say a few hellos. Can you see the comments coming in, David?
Some of them. Hello, Sam. Nice to see you from down under. And Jennifer McCormack, how are you doing? Hello, Nick Brown. Yes, hi.
It's good to see Nick.
Yeah. I'm not seeing many from TikTok.
I've got them down the bottom there, David. I can see Penelope. She's come live. Hi, Penelope. Good to see you on here.
Hi, Penny. Hi, Kim. Hi. Nice to see you.
Can I just say, guys?
Hi, I've seen you last week in Speak. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, don't forget, this is your opportunity to ask David a question. This gentleman, I'm going to just talk a little bit about you, David, if you don't mind, because you've been on a long journey with mediumship. It started with you as a child. I do know that. But there was one thing that I read that really surprised me. You saw a monk at a very early age. Did that not frighten you? And can you explain to the viewers that are watching what happened?
No, I've never been frightened of the dead. I'm more frightened of the living, to be honest. Even as a child, it was just water off a duck's back to me. But one night I was laying in bed and I was just very aware that there was a spirit around me, and I just opened my eyes, and Jason, my inspirer, he was just looking over me straight, facing my face, and I began to scream. And I was screaming and screaming so loud that the neighbours heard me, but my parents, who were in the next bedroom, didn't. Wow. And it was a bit strange, really. But that was the first time I'd seen Jason completely. I was about possibly about 9 or 10 at that time, and then later on through my life, obviously you know, I see him all the time, obviously. But when I was younger, when I was a younger, when it was my salad days, I didn't see him as much. But it didn't bother me. I was quite thrilled, and I knew it was a good spirit, a good inspirer, you know, and it was really, really good. Yeah, lovely. So that's kind of, you know, yes, it has been a long journey. I was a child when I was a medium. It's around 55 years of me being a medium, really. All things taken into account. But yes, I've been on that journey and been there, done it, and got the T-shirt.
Because now I know, just quickly, so Jason is your inspirer, your guide, but at the time you didn't know that.
Kind of knew that there was some sort of go-between when I was a kid. I knew that the spirit was guiding me or helping me.
Yeah.
But I didn't know much about it. I understood that there was something else. I never really, it never really freaked me out. I was never scared. And I really just took it as just a normal thing, really. Everybody else around me took it as an abnormal thing, but I took it as a normal, you know, a normal thing that that can happen to you. And, you know, and to be perfectly honest with you, really, rarely would I even today look at it as being anything out of the ordinary. It's, to me, it's just another angle of life that on occasions I dip my toe in.
Yeah. But you said your parents were, or your family were, you know, how do they deal with that?
Well, they obviously always knew that there was something different about me. I was, you know, I've never been the most, what can I say, ordinary, I suppose to them, the most ordinary child. You know, I was never really, kind of say, like run of the mill, and they accept. My dad was a little bit. There was a little bit of an axe to grind there with my father, but my mum was always very protective, and I was just very, very, very sensitive and very, very spiritual, and the thing was, I also had a very strong faith. I think if I hadn't have been a medium, or if I hadn't have in my life grown in one direction, I could have well imagined myself becoming a priest, really.
Oh, that's interesting. So was that more to do with the essence of spirit that you felt around you, or?
I've just always been very, 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 a very strong, had a very strong spirituality within me, a very strong nature of spirit. And, you know, I've always loved to do, I'm very pious. I've always loved to do holy things. I'm not somebody who, you know, I believe in God. I pray. I ask before I go on to in front of an audience, even in a demonstration. I will always ask for forgiveness of anything, any negative that I've brought, anything of my actions which have brought negativity into the world, that I stand in front of people as, you know, as a good soul, and doing that for the greater good. Really, I've always done that. It's just something that's within me.
David, that's just blown me away. I've got to be honest, because I know a lot of mediums are not really in touch with that aspect of self. They've spent many, many years developing the mechanics of mediumship, but not necessarily that spiritual aspect of oneself. Now, there's a couple of questions that are coming off of that. Was that due to the influence of Jason, your guide, who was a monk, clearly someone devout to God, would you have had a past life with him? Do you believe that you're sorry? There's about 4 questions there, David. I'm so sorry.
Um, you know, I can't answer whether he was in my past life because the honest answer is I've never asked him. But we're very, very connected, as I am with all the inspirers who work with me, not just him, but he's obviously the main one, the one that's been with me since conception. I do have other inspirers as well, but I would say he's. It could well be that he was with me in the other life, but I always have had a great faith. I found God when I went to a retreat, which was in St. Helens. Actually, I was only 9 years or 10 years old, and a guy called Eric Delve, and I just felt he moved me and stirred something up within me, which made me know that there was a God, and which made me believe in even more in spirituality, and I always remember a funny thing was it's really funny how through my life God has surfaced in so many ways because I did a demonstration. It's maybe about, I think it could be 10 years ago now, maybe. And I did it in Oldham. And there was a lovely man who came along to watch. His name is Phil. And actually, he's not half Phil here, but Phil. And he was lovely. He was part of the SPR Society in the north, and they were doing research into mediums, and he didn't tell me that he was part of that society, but
Okay.
after my demonstration he was blown away, and he asked could he come along, and he'd come along with some people who were very scientific to my office, and he said to me that he asked me the preparation that I did. So I told him that I prayed, and I told him that I always was given a beam of light, which was placed just above my my sacral chakra.
Yeah.
And I said, at this light, I was told it was the light of God and the light of the world, and I always had to respect it and use it for the greater good. And I told him that, and they were just absolutely blown with that. And he said, that is absolutely miles away different than what we've ever heard anybody say before. And they've interviewed thousands of people, mediums, but that's how I've always been, and it's how it's manifested and grown with me, because even though I'm a medium and people have ideas about that, you don't divorce God from that. You've introduced
Absolutely.
God,
Absolutely. But because of programming and what we've learned maybe from school or church as a child, a lot of people that come into mediumship, some people don't come into mediumship until they've had some kind of trauma or loss themselves, and they don't necessarily pick that aspect up. But for me, I've been coming towards that more and more and more recently. And interestingly, I've been working with a quite a well-known gentleman on my philosophy, and I've been working with the self-existence of God.
all right.
And I've been writing a piece on that on philosophy, and it's just so powerful. It just ignites something within you that was there. It was always been there, but for a lot of mediums, I think we miss that point that we are of service. But I also want to come back because I do believe in the power of prayer. I think it's really important. But you asked for forgiveness. I'm sorry, David. I keep picking up on some lovely little nuggets you're giving me. I really want to ask you, and we will, guys, we will come to you. Keep your questions coming. We will come back to you. Don't worry. But why do you think we ask for forgiveness in prayer? Why that's important for you?
Because we're only human, aren't we? I mean,
Yeah.
when you're, I always think that in your life you make mistakes because you're a human being, but when you, and that's just being an ordinary human being. But when you're standing in front of the public, connecting with their loved ones on the other side of life, it's an extraordinary situation. So I always ask for the forgiveness for anything that I've done, so I can stand in front of the public, and I always do it. It's mandatory with me. So I stand in front of the public from a position of being able to give as I receive.
Yeah.
And not be sort of living, giving them something that wouldn't be how I would be myself, if you can get me. I wouldn't, it's not about, to me, it's not about, I suppose it's not about telling somebody to live one way and then me living a different way. That's how I am. It's just how I am as a person. Yes. And I can't help being that way. It's just so deeply in me. I find it would be very difficult to remove it from me, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting. I was reading an article recently about the forgiveness aspect of why forgiveness is supposed to be important, because it's something to do with our earthly reality in terms of the thoughts and feelings, and sometimes those negative processes that we have in our minds, our thoughts, our fears, our ideas. By asking for forgiveness, it's not necessarily forgiveness in itself. It's more about the actual energy raising our vibration higher so God can reach us. I don't know how true that is, but it was a very interesting concept, and it's pretty much on the similar lines to what you were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, if you, my understanding, I think I can only say it that way because it's, everybody has an opinion, but my understanding is if you reach out and you reach out to in the light and in the greater good, for the greater good, and you reach out within God's love, you're gonna obviously, it's going to be there for you. But I do believe in forgiveness. I'm not perfect, but I do think that at times it's very good to be able to forgive, and I do think it's a very good. Let's say it feeds you, nourishes your soul, yes, isn't it? So that you can reach further out. I always think of my self as like a mobile phone, and I think what recharges me is how I am, God, my spirituality, and as I've said, I'm not perfect, but when those things happen, that's what recharges me, and that's what gets me to be able to be who I am, really. And yeah,
I love that. I love your philosophy. It's fantastic. Do you think you'll go towards the ministry later in life, or?
No, is the honest answer. No, I'm nearly 60 years old, and
well, David, you didn't have to tell us because I didn't know.
No,
I would never have said that.
I just look okay with all the Botox and hair dye. No, it's the answer. Brilliant. No, but I will always. I am a God-fearing man. I do believe in God. I do believe in God's love, and I do believe that. I always say that. If everybody on earth realised that the earth was the floor and the lovely sky was the sea, the trees were the pillars, and we were all one congregation, the tribesmen was all one congregation, then we get further on in life than all this situations will go on. But no, the answer is no. I'm I'm kind of I'm gonna probably go off on a tangent. I'm gonna keep. I love my mediumship. That'll stay traveling along. But there's many strings to my bow.
Yeah.
And it is only one part of me, really. Spirituality is the whole of me as a personal thing, but being a medium is only one part of me.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I can't. I would not like that to be all of me. I don't think it's good for you as a human being for it to be all of you. I think it's too much. You know.
Yeah, Chris has just put beautiful philosophy, David.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And Chris also gave some advice. I think it was you, Chris, that said also if I can pronounce this, David, the Ho'oponopono meditations are quite good. Where it's a powerful mantra, and I think it's like using one or two words like the love and forgiveness, or however you want, whatever you want to use is quite a powerful way of doing it, raising your vibration. So yeah, thank you for that, guys. Don't forget to share, come and say hi. This is your opportunity. I'm so sorry I've hijacked this interview for the last 20 minutes with David, but he's here. We are so lucky to have him here. This man is super busy. So please fire away with your questions and I will try to get your questions out there. Okay. I promise I'll behave and not talk too much. Okay. Okay. Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda's asked, when did the first direct voice you ever encountered take place? And were you surprised by it?
No, Rhonda is the answer. I wasn't surprised. I'm never surprised about anything spiritual whatsoever. We were driving along our road and Barry was sat in the passenger seat and I was driving along. And the next thing, I opened my mouth and two voices came out at the same time, saying different things, which is a bit strange.
Yeah.
And of course, when we were driving along, Barry just goes, "Oh, two voices just come out of your mouth." I said, "That's strange, isn't it?" But it's not. I wasn't. Oh, that's strange. I kind of asked, and I was just told that it was just part of the direct voice, which was starting to live and grow within me, and it has manifested and lived and grown. But obviously, I've always been a transcendental medium, and a physical medium as well. So I've always been able to kind of take myself down. But sometimes direct voice, because I've done it for so long now, I just take myself out and allow that spirit to facilitate, use my voice box and just speak. And it's just wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. A natural gift. It sounds like you've got a natural gift. Can I ask you also, because I know we touched on this, and you said sometimes, and I do know a lot of people that just throw themselves into mediumship and mediumship becomes their life. And I know I agree with you when you said that it's not particularly healthy over a long period of time.
Absolutely not.
What do you do to kind of take yourself out of that space?
Well, my number one, medium, and I will make it very clear, mediumship is only a very small part of my life. Spirituality, David, believing in God, and being who he is part of me. It's like my blood.
Yeah.
Being a medium is only a small part of me. I love to sing. I'm a professional singer. I can sing in Italian as well, and also crossover classics. I'm just putting myself forward now in a few dramas. I want to do some acting as well. I went to drama school many, many years ago and never continued it. And I've always been very interested in the arts. I can paint, I love painting as well. Very creative. And I'm a Spanish speaker.
Oh, wow.
I lessons because, of course, part of my life I live in Spain. I love my garden. I've got a magnificent, beautiful garden, which I love when the weather's good. So I have lots of things. I have lots of things. I'm not and that keeps me healthy. I don't want to be. I'm not one of these people that everything's a message.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're getting so much feedback here. Everyone's saying, we didn't know you sung, David. We've got Missy Hazy on TikTok saying, sing us a song, David. Rhonda said she didn't know. Also, Ellie, she's put, sing us a song, David. Sorry, David.
They can actually see a song that I've written called Fields of Violets. If you, I think you can Google it actually. Fields of Violets by David Traynor. I written a song for a family whose daughter was killed in a vehicle accident called Violet Elizabeth, and she was only five, six, crossing the road with her nan, and two young lads who'd stolen a car hit her and her nan, broke all her nan's bones. She survived, but poor Violet, she was on life support machine. The family gave her organs so other little people could live. And I thought, what can I do? So I written a song called Fields of Violets, and it's beautiful words if you listen to it. And yeah, it's lovely, and I gave it to them. They were thrilled. Lovely song, really. Yeah.
That's interesting, David, and that's a beautiful way to express that grief. One of the things I wanted to talk about is do you think we do or talk enough about grief within mediumship and the role it plays within mediumship?
I think we've got to be careful with it, really, because if I'm honest with you, I think these days mediumship's turned into a message, and grief is dealt with people who are specialise in bereavement. I think what it's moved towards is every now and again mediums putting a little sentiment on, or a nice poem, a spiritual poem, or less really about the grief element. I don't necessarily, whilst people will go, oh, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I think that, really, the vast amount of society who are modern day open thinkers realise there is now something else. There's, with so many mediums, not everybody's a medium, I get that, but there's so many mediums out there, and so many people who connect with their loved ones. I think vast amounts of people now realise that there's something in it, and I think it's become for really and truthfully more about the communication, more about the spiritual angle, and less about the grief. Really, is the honest answer. And as I've said, I think that's the right way forward, because I have done bereavement counselling. I do know how to do it, but I say leave bereavement counselling to the people who have studied it. I'm a medium. I communicate and give evidence of life continuous, and that's the difference. If you get me.
Yeah, absolutely. Mo, hi Mo. Mo's asked, what age were you when you first saw Heard Spirit? I know we covered that a little bit earlier.
Gosh.
But when did it really start coming in for you, David?
I was probably age of 5, maybe. And I used to, my dad was an undertaker. And I used to just tend to people, when I was a kid, I used to tend to people who had collected the names of the people and how they'd passed. I used to be coming out with some random things as well. I can remember walking down the street telling my mum, we had neighbours. I was only brought up in a street, and well, I shouldn't say only. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're brought up, it's who you are. But when we walked down this street, I said to my mum and gave her the names of the people and the month they were going to pass in order, and they did, one after the other, and that wasn't great for them. and it wasn't great for me. But that's just the irresponsible side of being a human child. Do you get me?
Absolutely, absolutely. But there's, pure of heart children, you just come out with things very matter of fact.
Yeah.
With
So as a child, really, as a child, I honestly think you could hold an intelligent conversation with me when I was really childlike. In fact, I'm going to say that I was like the most strangest of children, really.
Okay.
And that I would say from that early age, really. Not many kids can remember a few months after they've been born, can they?
Yeah.
I have little snippets of that in my head.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Hi, Kate's put hello. Apparently you're going to Oswestry soon. She says she can't believe it.
Believe it, yeah. I'll be. Yeah, I'm coming to Oswestry, Kate. Yeah, be lovely to see you.
Awesome. I just because I'm over based in Norfolk. Are you coming to Norwich Way? When are you coming to Norfolk?
Yeah, we do come that way, but I have no clue because I don't deal with it. I just appear there.
I'll talk to the man. I'll look out for you, Dave. I'll look out for you because there's a lot of people
Listen,
watching.
if I had something to do with it, if I had something to do with all that, honestly, you'd never see me.
That's a great question from Julie. She's asked, is there a way to encourage our loved ones to come forward and speak to a medium?
No, I believe that the public are secondary in that, to be honest with you. What you should do is when you go along, obviously, and see a medium who's a medium, that's the thing. What I'd say first of all, really, the public just sit there and confirm and deny the information. A medium, the public to a medium, the medium's not reading the public. Okay, that's not what they do.
Yeah.
A medium listens to the atmosphere and the spirit people around them and repeats what they collect back to the public. So, Julie, the honest answer is just go enjoy and really just just let yourself be. Don't live in your disappointments if you go and see a medium. But live in their truth.
That's from a demonstrating medium point of view. I know there's a lot of mediums watching. I'm going to quickly shout out to some of the mediums watching. Hi, Clara, I can see you on here, and Neil Payne is on here as well. And there's a few other mediums that are watching tonight. David, how do you deal with the no's?
How do I deal with the no's?
Especially in that pressured environment, and also...
Yeah, I don't find it a pressured environment, to be honest with you. And, I'm just me. How do I deal with the no's? What I do is I probably go back and ask the spirit to clarify what they meant.
Yeah,
I would say that I go back and I'll say they said no. Sometimes I don't believe an audience member when they say no as well. But usually I'm given privy to that one with the loved ones. But I'll say they said no, and normally you get the reason why they said no, and you repeat it, and they go, "Oh yes, I understand now." Yeah. But that's how I deal with it, really. But I don't find it pressured whatsoever, really, to be honest. I'm quite comfortable in front of the public. I'm not somebody who's really. For some people, it is quite traumatic. A lot of people. I have a lot of mediums who ask me, would I do a course on how to stand up and present yourself in the public, in public, and because it's not. Why should you think it's public speaking? It's totally different because you have got to feel very, very comfortable, not under pressure, so that you can allow the facility of connecting with the tear at the energy world around you. And you can't, you don't want that pressure anyway, because it's not fun, is it? Putting yourself through that.
Absolutely.
I would not be putting myself through that. If I felt it was pressure, I'd stick to something else. I'd probably be, I don't know, probably work in Tesco or something.
There's nothing wrong with working in Tesco's. But Miss Shazzy on TikTok, hi, yeah. She's asked a question. I know we touched on this earlier. What did your mum and dad think about talking to the dead?
My dad just always thought it was strange anyway. But I always knew he loved me, and that's all I needed to know. My mum, very protective, always knew I was sensitive. And kind of they cared really. And what was strange as well, I was brought up a Roman Catholic, and then when I was about 9, I attended the Baptist church, the Methodist church, Independent Methodist, sorry, at the top of the street, and I used to go there to Sunday school and to church, and when the priest spoke to me, he said, "Do you go to church?" I said, "Yes, I go to the Independent Methodist Church at the top of the road." And he went, "Do you?" And I said, "Yes. What's the problem with that? We're all God's children."
Yeah.
So they were all right with it. I mean, some things used to get them down. My sensitivity got them down, I'm sure. And I was a pain in the neck with the sensitivity, but no, I have no regrets with my parents. My father was a good man, and my mum was a good woman, and that's really a good thing, really, isn't it? It can only be a positive.
Absolutely. And I know you're part of a very close family.
Oh yes, I love. I've got a huge family in Stockport and in Oz, and yes, I'm very close with them. We're very, very close, really, in that way. We don't see each other every week. I'm always busy, but if I need them, they're there. Yeah. There's no messing. They're just there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great having that family network and support around you. That's great. And of course, also your manager Barry as well.
Yeah.
You've got a great manager, Barry. So I kind of wanted to go talk a little bit about your career, if you don't mind. You've done a lot of TV work, and I mentioned this before, which being a bit of a Star Trek fan back in the day, you've actually read for William Shatner. And if anybody doesn't know who William Shatner is, he is the first captain of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek, which obviously it's sci-fi. It's not real. It's not the aircraft carrier. It's the actual spaceship. But you interviewed him. And am I allowed to say you didn't know who he was?
Yeah, you can. He knows that anyway. Bill, he knows that. No, yeah. I didn't know it was. We were sat in the holding room waiting, and he sat there. After that, he was going to a Star Trek convention where he was the special guest. Yeah, there was 33,000 people waiting for him, and he came in with the hole in his jeans, and he sat next to me, and we just got talking, and I just said, "Have you been gardening?" And he went, No. I went, "Oh." I said, "You work here?" No. Barry's and Andrea's my wife, but their eyes were popping out of their head, and I just said, "Oh." I said, "Right, okay." And he went, "You don't know who I am, do you?" And I went, "No, I've not a clue." And he went, "I'm William Shatner, who you're going to be reading for." I said, "Oh, hello, nice to meet you." Shook his hand, and he went, "Do you watch Star Trek?" I went, "No, I've never seen it before in my life." And I went, "All right," and burst out laughing. It was just normal. We got on like a house on fire, and he said to me, "If we would love you to come along and be on the William Shatner show in California." And he was just lovely. Everything about him was just super, just an ordinary person. But my mum took ill after that, and that opened up to 14 years of Alzheimer's and dementia, Lewy body, and I chose to look after her than go down that route.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. It's
Yeah,
such a difficult thing. So many people go through that
oh,
experience.
absolutely, yeah.
Do you think another question, and Jennifer Cormack has asked a bit of a statement here. David, last night I had an amazing reading of Daniela and Debbie Romero. Debbie mentioned my partner around me whilst I'm reading a book. She said it has an angel on the front of it. It was your book. I bought it at your show last week. A Bridge to Angels. Just love how my loved ones connect with all you beautiful people. That's lovely.
Oh, isn't that
That
lovely?
is lovely. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. That's always good to know there's an impact, that people, have that connection and pick up on that sort of stuff. It's beautiful. Yeah, sorry, I went off on a tangent there, but I want to come back.
No, absolutely. No, that's lovely. Really nice and nice evidence. Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, guys,
Really enjoyed the book.
absolutely. How many have you published, David?
I've published 2. I've got a 3rd one coming out sometime this year called Into the Light, which is I wrote maybe 8 or 9 years ago now, maybe 10 years ago. I just can't. I'm not very good with dates. Barry has the dates, but I wrote it. And what it was about was I used my own money after the 9/11 atrocity in NYC. I was getting lots and lots and lots of spirit coming forward, and lots and lots and lots of signs asking me to go and work and do use my gift for the people who'd been affected.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask anybody for anything. I used my own money, and I took me about 100 off there, and we helped some people. Not asking anything from them, not to capitalise on it, because there was a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon at that time. It was very sad actually. And I met some wonderful people. They've written their version, so the book has their version, and it's a absolute true manuscript. And it was really good, really. And what I did then was I held on to the book. Yeah. Because I felt that America had to heal before I brought a book out about it, from a spiritual perspective, and that's why I've not brought it out before. It's just been there on a shelf, which is typical of me, by the way. And so we approached a publisher because my publisher isn't quite well now and has retired, and he was very excited, and they're going to they took it on, and it's going to be available everywhere. And it's called Into the Light. There should be 4 books actually, because there's Friends in High Places, Bridge to Angels, Into the Light, and Destiny of the Soul. That's the books, really.
So look out for
this one's Into the Light.
Yeah, look out for those guys. Definitely. That sounds really good. Really good. I was just going to say, some people are having a few technical issues with sound on TikTok. Don't forget, if you want to jump on at YouTube or Facebook, we're live across different platforms. So we do apologize if you're getting an echo or we're trying our best to sort that out. Okay. So also, guys, don't forget to share as well. Don't forget to ask your questions of David, anything you'd like to know about mediumship. And we're also discovering so much more about David's life and how that fits in. Because really, David, a lot of what you said, your spirituality, the way you live your life, actually gives your mediumship more substance.
I mean, I'm not perfect. and I can't profess to be perfect because I'm a human being. But yeah, I do. That's how I am. When you come out and see me at a demonstration, or when you see me on a live, or when you see me how I am, unless I'm taking a role in an acting piece, or then I'm somebody else. But I am who I am. I live my life in a pretty spiritual way. I think once upon a time, somebody accused me of helping too many people. I'm always, happy to help in some way if I can. If I can't, I'll say I can't. But I'm not. Yeah, I am who I am. With me, the mediumship and what you see on the stage is a demonstration. It's a very real situation. But it's about people first. If money comes with people, that's fine, but people must come first. That's how I.
Someone's asked a question on Facebook. Forgive me if I don't pronounce this right. See Herald. Why weren't we all still spiritually awakened at 5+ years? I'm intrigued to know why it took until I was 48 years to reawaken.
Everybody comes into this when there's a time. I always think to myself that, and please, as I said, this is only my take on it. Been a medium for many, many years. Everybody comes into this when there's a time and a space in their lives. Some people have children, which obviously the universe knows that as a parent you've got to put them first, and so it's so important to know that there's got to be a time. In my experience, there's always a time. It's never just thrown upon you. And I think as well, when you come into mediumship as well, and when you do mediumship, what people don't realise is it takes such a big chunk of being as well, because it's a calling, isn't it? It should be a calling anyway. It should be a calling, really. It's a calling of of God, really, to bring about messages from His life, from His side of life to ours. And it's not really, it's not really something that you should just go along and just develop. It's something where the spirit finds you, you don't find the spirit. And I just think there's got to be that space. We find that when you have some people who develop just because they think it's a way out of their job, or some people who develop because they think that that they've been told many times they've got a gift, or they see it as a way to print money. We find that really they don't last. They fall by the wayside. Because people don't realise that it takes a lot, and it's not just something you should really enter into. So I find these days that when I think about it, really, everybody seems to be a medium. But they're not supposed to be. But not everybody is supposed to be a medium.
I was just going to say, why do we term that, we're become spiritually awakened, we start to become mediums? I don't think it's as simple as that. I think it's just being aware of self.
Correct. Well, absolutely. When we get awareness isn't the awareness of the dead. It's awareness of oneself.
Absolutely.
And I just think being spiritual is great. I just sadly think that there's a lot of people out there who are saying they're mediums, but in actual fact, it's not really right. It's not the right thing, because they're just not.
Yeah.
And it's so sad, really, because it leaves people, people wondering, well, why is it not worked for me? And it's not worked for you because you've gone somebody who's not a medium, basically.
I know, but I mean, in terms of when we call the word, I think it's all about language and terminology that we get confused. And when we say we become more spiritual or become more awakened, it isn't, it isn't. And I think there's too much of that within, especially in and around social media. Everybody can suddenly make a reel and suddenly pick up a pack of tarot cards, or and we are living through economically difficult times.
Correct.
So that also is an inspiration for people. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong or right. And like you said, I believe that people, if they're meant to be working in that way, they will inevitably.
Correct.
I always find people that are not always. I've been a real resistant medium. It's not something that I've got to be honest, I never really wanted to do. I'd rather go and watch football. I'm going to get into trouble for saying that.
No, I think that's great. But I think that's great because it's what you it's the truth, isn't it? It's like me when I said everybody thinks. I'm sure that a lot of people think that my whole life has been a medium. Absolutely, just no, no.
Yeah.
No. But I'll tell you something. I had a young lady got in contact with me. It's a couple of months ago now, and she sent an email. She was from London, and she said, I started to read tarot because I couldn't pay my bills. I was working, and so I bought a set of tarot cards, set up a tarot card, and started to get some money in. But now I suffer with depression. So I said, okay. So I had a Zoom meeting with her, and I said to her, I said, what was your absolute fundamental reason that you would want to give somebody spiritual advice?
Yeah.
And she said, because I couldn't afford to pay my bills. I said, I said, well, that is, surely you must see that is wrong.
Yeah.
I said, surely what you've got to do is now go back and don't do that and go and get another job doing something else and watch. And it's not the right motivation, and I just think that type of thing, it is the wrong thing. It's not meant to be for
David,
that, really.
Sorry to interject. Have you come across, and it's kind of leading into what we've just been talking about, have you come across soul planning?
Soul planning.
So, for example, there's a lot of stuff on the internet today about soul planning. People that were meant to go. There was one I was watching recently when I was told that this lady was saying that if you commit suicide, it was in your soul plan. If you're not meant to, something will interrupt that plan. And there's also another aspect of that, because just because we're not mediums, there is always something for us that as a soul, we can reach our highest potential.
Right.
Surely.
First of all, I want to say I believe in that as nonsense. From start to finish, nonsense is the honest answer.
Yeah.
Only my opinion. And I'll tell you why. I believe, yes, that we are born many times in life and afterlife. And it's a circle of life. think you should go through your life. You're born into infants, from afterlife to a baby, into infants, junior, senior, and so on. And then you get to 99 and you move back to the afterworld, because the world would be a bit crowded if we didn't.
Yeah.
And I think when we go over there, because we are energy, we commune, we're still the same person, we're still, I don't believe this is spirit hospital. If I hear that sentence, I just think that's just nonsense.
But is that a conceptualized idea? So like the
it's
great
just nonsense.
hall,
But haven't got a body of weight.
Yeah.
So
but do you not think as human beings we're trying to conceptualize things to make it fit? Because it sounds nice in our human reality.
It just sounds so to me, it just sounds so nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense to me. Somebody said to me, do you believe you've planned this before you've come here?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have planned. I wouldn't have planned some of the stuff, if I'm honest, because I'm quite a down-to-earth, grounded person. So the answer is, don't believe it one jot. What I would want solid proof about it. I think it's just another dimension. This is the thing, you see. I think what we can do at times is we can take too many angles and fundamentally move away from the core thing, sadly.
Yeah.
And it's the same as when I'll tell you what, another thing, what makes me chuckle so much is I can't understand why people change their name. Why would I want to be called Star Child Tanzanite Trainer? Why can't I
know
David Traynor?
But is that more about them? I quite like you in stuff. I actually quite like that, David.
I think it's more. Do you know what I think it's more about? Commercialism.
Yeah, but I quite like you in a star suit. A little bit of sci-fi. Star suit David Traynor. It's okay.
I just laugh, really. I like the fundament. I like the thing just being what it is. I like the idea of communication. I like the idea of no complication. And all these things are not solid facts, are they?
Yeah,
whereas
but
if you bring somebody's loved one through, and you're giving absolute tangible proof and evidence without that person telling you, they're just confirming and denying. That is factual, isn't it?
Yeah. But do you know what, David? I think what is really obvious from this interview tonight, you're a real person. And I think you connect with a lot of people because they want real. They don't want, unauthentic people. I don't like that phrase, but there's no such thing as being unauthentic, I don't think. But you kind of get what I'm saying. You're not that person. I think a lot of people will relate to you because you're no nonsense. You still live your life.
You're absolutely not. No, well, not yet. Anyway.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And another thing which is really important is your sense of humor, because when you come on tonight, we were laughing. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I pulled out one of my poor jokes that I nicked from somebody else. David did say to me he'd heard it already, but it's okay. It's okay. But sense of humor, and do you find when spirit connects with you, and we're going to come to Chris in a minute. Thanks for that question, Chris. Really great question. Do you get the sense of humor of spirit loved ones when they come in, as part of their personality, and how they can say some really dry things at times?
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I laugh at some of the things that come out and go on, and some of the things that they come out with when we're on the stage, and some of the things the public come out with as well. The universe, people, as well as the universe and the spirit people, they need fun. We don't want to be sat there all dull and boring. I don't want to stand there and make people cry. People do cry, and I understand it's a genuine outburst of emotion, and tears are the price we pay for love. That's what it is. It just really is. But I think to myself, really, that fun, laughter, joy, celebration, that life's continuous.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, isn't that just in a difficult world? What about laughter?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, Krish, thank you for that question. Everyone keeps saying how fabulously you are. AAO, sorry, you're on TikTok. I can't see your name. But she said David is fabulously authentic, and a few people on Facebook are saying that too. And Krish has asked, oh, yeah, and Karen's put, David is the best. And that's what is that your mum, by the way? Is Karen Tudor?
Karen Tudor, no, my mum's in the spirit.
Oh, bless. Okay. That was again another example of one.
My mum was 92,
and, bless her.
And she passed 4 years ago on Easter Sunday at 3:00. But she couldn't. She was dead from the neck down. She lived with the skill. My wife was giving her a sandwich. She just got forward, and I said to my wife, "Don't bring her back. She needs to be over there." And we lay her down because she said it was terrible. And we watched her step out of her skin.
No.
Yeah, and that's twice because I watched my dad do that, 57, and I watched my mum as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was Alison. That was Alison on TikTok, by the way. Thank you for that, Alison.
Thank you.
It's great that we got TikTok tonight. Thank you for persevering with technical issues. I think Richard sorted all that out now. Chris has asked, do you believe that everything, our lives are predestined? Great question.
Great question. No is the answer. No, I don't. I think if everything was predestined,
be quite boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there'd be nothing exciting, nothing off the cuff. Everything would be. I'll tell you what I think. I think we have like little kind of pointers every now and again in our lives.
Yeah.
Not predestined, just given little pointers, little directives from the universe, maybe our inspirers, or maybe our family, what's come before us.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sorry, no, I don't. I don't. I think it's I'm maybe I'm a bit simple-minded, but I'm not into all this predestined. I do believe that we live many times. I do believe that we live and grow and evolve and we learn. I really do believe that. But I don't believe there's any hard, fast rules, I just don't. Because I think it would be too. You would be. It'd be stifling, really. You wouldn't be. There'd be nothing about you. Would be. If everything was controlled and predestined, and you wrote your future. I mean, I wouldn't write my future by having 6 new vehicle problems. Had to keep going back to the garage. It just wouldn't be something I would do. It just you'd write everything easy, wouldn't you? Right. If you were gonna come back and everything was, you'd say, well, when I was 12, I'll go on a world cruise, and then I'll go on another world cruise when I was 15, and then I'll go on another world cruise. You make it easy for yourself. Surely that's just human.
And Sarah Tink Weston, hi Sarah. She's put David read for me years ago and described my nan as mad as a box of frogs. Bless her.
Oh.
He wasn't wrong, she said. He wasn't wrong. And then he get my teeth in, sketched my granddad.
Wow.
That's lovely.
Fantastic. I'll not remember that, Sarah, but thanks very much for the feedback. I won't remember that because I read and sketch so many people. But how nice.
So Terry's just put, I believe we meet certain people for a reason. I believe we experience certain things for a reason, but I don't believe our lives are set out in stone. free will. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Terry. But yeah. I mean, so just quickly talking about your sketches, your how did that come about? Was that something that developed later in life?
I'll tell you something, right? And it's strange you should ask me this, because my friend is over from America. We're going out for dinner at the weekend. She comes to stay with us, and it's actually at her wedding. And we'd gone to St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean for a wedding, and we'd got this kind of, it was like a loft in the middle of the sea, and I'm not very good in the middle of nowhere. Felt like Robinson Crusoe, and I was bored off my tree, so I picked up a pad and I just sketched loads of faces and gave them all names, and then decided that these must be people in the spirit, so communicated. And so it's quite they were like a village, quite a close close community, you know. And I still got it somewhere in the book, actually. I should put it out there and let people see it. I've just not had a chance. But when the guy who was the taxi driver, who was called Jesus, was quite religious there, he'd come to pick us up. The book was open on the table. He said, "What's this?" So I said, "Oh," I said, "I've I've drawn these." And he went, "No," he said, "these are all our villagers who've passed away."
No way.
And I went, "Yeah." He went, "I know her, I know her, I know him, I know him, I know him, I know him, I know him."
Wow.
So then the next thing, all the villagers, whoa, you know, it's crazy. And that's what happened. But the most freakiest thing was, this was only a few months after, Andrea, myself, and Barry, we went to we took a break in Italy, and we stayed in a lovely hotel there in the Italian lakes where Winston Churchill stayed. Beautiful place. And we were sat one day. He was sat just doodling, taking a break, and I was sat over the other side of the pool doodling. And the next thing, I just said, "What are you drawing?" And he went, "Look." And he'd drawn the same face as me.
No.
And then the face came up on the window in the bedroom, in the like in the like, yeah. And we was just like, wow. We were like, we still got that as well. He drawn the same face as me, the exact same face, and we went up into the bedroom. The windows were really old-fashioned, really like, you know, a couple of 100 years old, really old-fashioned. And the same face was on the glass.
That's brilliant.
It just come up on the glass.
So that's now become part of your work. You've embedded that, or
yeah, because you see, that's the other thing as well. As in the mediumship, in my spirituality, I grow within myself. Do you get it? Within my spirituality, I grow within myself. So, you know, I'll sing in Italian, I'll do nice things to people, I'll go out in the garden, I'll speak nicely to people, I'll do nice things whenever I can for everybody. And that's my own personal me, my own spiritual me.
Yeah.
That's how I am. But spiritual doesn't always mean good, by the way. That's the misconception. But in my mediumship, my mediumship develops all the time. So if somebody saw me 5 years ago, I might be totally different now. Or 10 years ago, I might be totally different now. And so my gift evolves, you see, because what spirit do is, as you're growing and evolving, your abilities are growing and evolving, you know?
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So you kind of your art's going to evolve in your physical mediumship's growing and evolving. Your direct voice is growing and evolving. Your art, your automatic art. Everything's on the spiritual side is moving on and manifesting and growing. So this is this when he moves into this zone to be a medium, he has the facilities to be able to endorse life after death, and that's what it is, you see, and that is the spirit evolving me, not me forcing involvement on the spirit. That's the difference, you see.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's amazing? I think that's mad. I really do. I think it's mad. When I look at it, I think it's mad. Because I'm not saying I will do this. I'll force myself out. I'll meditate. I'll do all these exercises. No. I let them educate and move me into what they needed me in that small zone of my life.
Yeah. And so you believe that's a natural process, really?
Absolutely. You can be with like-minded people for development. I've done mentoring myself, but a medium has a certain self-involvement. So you can't, you can't have when I've done my mentoring with any of my courses. I've never encouraged everybody to be the same.
Yeah,
I've given everybody the same information, but I believe if you have like 10 people on say a development, say you do a 10 weeks development where you show people the science, the belief, and the practical. So you give them the elements.
Yeah.
Each one of those people, you give the same information to, but you allow them to be them, so that each one of them emerges and grows in the medium that they're supposed to be. Because if everybody was the same medium, it'd be boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And you get in them 10 people, you get somebody who starts off being a sentient medium, somebody who starts out being a psychic artist, somebody who starts out being a physical medium. You don't know, somebody could be just an audit medium. Everyone grows from a different, in a different way, and comes from a different perspective of mediumship. And all are valued, everything's valued, but you just don't. You've just got to force them to be their own expression, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the uniqueness of us all. Carol's quickly asked, "Do we?" Oh, David, are you okay for time? By the way.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, carry on.
Okay, so guys, Carol, hi Carol. She's asked, "Do we all have a guardian angel
Right, we all have
for our lives?"
You see, it's a misconception. We have to be very, very careful with it, because we have an inspirer, which is our main inspirer. Some people call her a doorkeeper. I just think we have an inspirer. Mine's Jason. Allotted to us at conception, and he is one of his roles, one of his main roles in my existence is to guard, guide, and protect my sobriety and my spiritual self. And in my physical role, my parents have guarded, guided, and protect my sobriety in my physical self. So both sides of life are watched from that perspective. He also can advise me, but he can't tell me what to do. He also can lead me along a little bit, but can't be. How can I say? He can't be absolutely giving me absoluteness.
Yeah.
He's, he can advise me. Whether I take that advice is up to me, which is not really very often, because I believe that I'm me, and I'll do what I want to do. It sounds bad, that, but I am a free spirit in that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's what we have. We have that guardian, that inspirer. We have many inspirers, which come in at many different phases. Many different inspirers come in at many different phases and many different situations in our lives to assist us. The angelics, guardian angels, you can call them guardian angels. If you want to call them guardian angels, but usually our angelics are there as the ultimate, or God's messengers, or God's warriors, and they're there to help life tick. And you normally find that an angelic has never really walked a step as a human. You normally find an angelic really, they're there more for greater things, the angelic energy, like disaster, to help people with, if there's going to be a disaster. Mind you, there's been a lot, but you see, again, that doesn't mean that they can do everything, because it is what it is. But that's where the angels come in. But the guardian angel, I say, is a spirit being who walks inside of us, protecting our variety on the other side of life from, and again, from conception. It helps us move into the light.
Katrina's just asked, hello, what's happening tonight? Katrina, oh my God, you are missing one of the best interviews ever on SPTV. Here live tonight, we've got David Traynor. So don't tell anyone, keep it quiet. Don't share it amongst your friends. This is what's happening. We have a wonderful guest here tonight on SPTV. So please share it out and let people know that we have the amazing David Traynor. And if you've missed the interview, don't worry, because you'll be able to catch up with us on Facebook, on YouTube, or SBT. I'm not sure if it's stored on TikTok, but I can't hear Richard tonight. It's been quite quiet because Richard's manning TikTok.
He's probably fell asleep.
This is where I've got my. Well, it could have been. It could have been. But this is where I've got my free will. See now, Richard. But he's just messaged. He's here. The voice of God. He's here. Now, it won't be saved on TikTok, guys, but it will be on YouTube, and it will be available on Facebook. So come and visit us. Also, like and subscribe, because it helps to keep this channel going. Richard works very hard for nothing. This is all for free, from the goodness of his heart. And Terry's put, definitely one of your best interviews, Paul. It's been very interesting. Well, it's credit to David, actually. Thank you, David. It's been such a fascinating evening. We've absolutely loved it. Oh no, we've done that one, Richard. I think the one from Mo, but thank you for that question. There was a question coming. It is. Oh, you're psychic, Richard. You must have just put that up there. David, where did you meet Rusty Lee?
Rusty, my friend Rusty. Oh, bless her, one of my close friends. Well, you see, one day, I was actually in Spain. Actually, I just thought, I just knew. I'm just going to say that I don't know how I knew. I just knew that Rusty did card reading, so I messaged her. And I just said, do you still do your card reading, Rusty? And she messaged back and she went, who are you? So I don't know why I did it as well. It's a bit one of those mad things. And I think what it was, I'd seen her somewhere on the TV, And my mum used to love Rusty Lee, you know, because she's got a great life, you know, and she's like that in real life. She's not that what you're seeing on the TV is not made up. That's exactly how she is all the time. Period. All the time. She was driving today, talking to me, and I was driving, and it's just like that is who she is. There's nothing fake about her. She's just amazing. And she texted back, she said, "Who's this?" I said, "Oh, I'm David Traynor." I said, "I'm a spirit medium." "Oh," she said, "let me call you." So she called me on FaceTime, and I was in despair, and she said, "Oh," she went, "Please," she said, "if I read for you, would you read for me?" So I said, "Let's do it." So she read for me. She was great. She was really great. She was great. She did a card reading, and it was thereabouts spot on, really. And I was quite thrilled, really, because I'm not really one who goes for readings.
Yeah.
It just didn't float my boat. I read for her. What I didn't realise was the people I'm bringing through was actually family that had only passed in a close to proximity of, and she just sat crying, and she just went, "I can't actually," and then I drew them, and she just said, "Wow, this is just an amazing gift you have." And then the next thing is, of course, I was reading for all her friends and, you know, people off the TV, lots and lots of people, and she was looking. But our friendship has grown. We've appeared together at some theatres and stuff, and we've just become very good friends, and really not just as because she's in the public eye, we're just ordinary, if you like, but no, and she's fab, really. We are very, very, very good friends. I'd say she's in my life, she's one of my best friends that you know, and she'll tell you probably the same, that I'm probably one of her best friends. We have a lot of friends. She's one of my best friends. Yeah.
Chrissy Whitley, she's put, "Hi Chrissy," she's put, "Rusty and yourself are a very good duo, amazing funny duo."
Yeah, well, I think what it is, Chrissy, is because we're real friends. I know it sounds mad. We're real friends. We're not. I'm not interested that she's Rusty Lee. To me, she's just Rusty, your friend. Do you get me?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're very good friends, and she's been inspirational for me, and I've helped her in some difficult times. It's been fine. We're very, very good friends. I would say one of right up there as one of my life's best friends, really. Yeah.
Krish has asked a great question.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry if this is a little bit out of kilter to what we were saying, but do you think that our grief makes it more difficult for the loved one in spirit to reach us?
No, is the answer. I don't think there's anything about the public what affects a spirit coming through a medium. Is the honest answer. Nish, did you say Chris? Krish. Hi, Krish. No, is the honest answer. I don't think it's anything about you, the public member, and your emotion, your spirit communicates with the medium. It will either be that the medium is not picking up enough of the spirit's information, or not collecting enough of the evidence or conversation that the spirit is giving, and it's usually to do with me, the medium. The public are secondary. Always remember that. mediums do not read people. Mediums listen to the energy world, the esoteric, this world which is around us, the ether. And if you look at ether, the word ether, it means everything to everyone who's attuned to it.
Yeah.
And it means nothing to you, the public, who just see it as air, if you like. It means nothing to you. So you come along to me. You are your loved ones on the other side of life are my main people, my main spirit people. I just listen to them and repeat to you what they've said. So it's not. It really is that, and nothing you can do as the public. The only thing you can do is say no, I don't understand, and say it as a porky if you do understand. But I can't deny about that because that's just being a human being, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever get to a point where, and I've heard mediums say it, and it's not a criticism if anyone's listening that has had this experience. Do you think there are some people that we can't read for?
I would say in all the years I've done this, it's been just a handful. And I would say to you, thereabouts that I've been doing one-to-ones and in the public eye. So that tells you 3, 4, maybe 5 people. I usually find that it's something more to do with the person than me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what it is. It's either people have the wrong idea of what you can do.
Yeah.
So they expect something different than what you offer. Because a lot of people, if you have somebody who's really, really immersed in their grief, they almost expect a name, address, and telephone number. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you people expect.
Yeah.
So
I agree. And Joanne Rippers from TikTok. Hi, Joanne. Thank you. Mediums. Is there a little bit of truth in that? Is it about energy that we connect better with certain people?
Spirits. I always think of it like a doctor. You go to. I have about 7 doctors in my doctor's surgery, and I like the doctors that I like. And spirits are like that. They like the mediums that they like, because it is that, they have choices,
Yeah.
So you do find that is they're about a good statement, a correct statement, really. Like you, the public, decide what medium you go and watch.
Yeah.
It's about really. Sometimes and to be honest with you, it's really true. This, sometimes it can be less about the ability of mediumship, or sometimes it's more about the mediumship and less about the person.
Is that more about the recipient being more educated in the process? Because I know people that go and see certain people and I think, okay, without being judgmental, but it's more about the person than the mediumship ability.
I think so. Is the honest answer is I think the best balance is if you have a plausible character, or you're a man for all people, and you're a proficient medium. That is a great blend to have, and you always kind of survive. And you will always have an audience. You will always have interest, and you will always have, with the greatest respect in the world, whenever I've had mediums come to me if they've hit problems and they need a tutorial with me. And you'll get mediums that say, no matter how I try, I cannot get an audience. So and I'll say, okay, so let's go over it. And I'll ask them to do a dummy run. And then I'll tell them why they're not getting the audience. Sometimes they don't like that. But I will explain to them what can become unattractive to people.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, really, people need to have common ground with you. They need to relate to you.
Absolutely. But if you have the right philosophy as a medium, then I think you're like a magnet. People will find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's that blend. I love to laugh.
Yeah,
I am never gonna stand on a stage and just be not fun. It's never gonna happen.
Absolutely.
And I think that blend of respect, of being proficient at your job and bringing it over in a nice way and fun. I think it's a unique blend. But as I said, there are mediums out there where it's more about the personality and less of the mediumship.
Yeah.
That's
rather than
choice.
because I try not to be negative thoughts of things, but I just think there's people for people, and I think the point being is that even if that person isn't so great with his mediumship, but is a good personality, it's also it's an opportunity that people have this connection with the spirit world, that we are eternal. And sometimes that's a good thing. Hi Della, by the way, good to see you on here. Chrissy Wheatley's just come in with, this is a big one, David. Prepare yourself for this one. Do you believe in evil spirits and do you deal with them?
Ooh. I believe there is negative spirits. The word evil is rather strong. I think that the word evil comes in through a religious belief and not really a fact. I believe there's negative spirits, but there's good and bad in life. So as in life, there's in the afterlife. And yes, I'm not happy. Yes, I will deal with them. I fear them not. But what I will say to you is I think, sadly, the biggest medium on our planet is TV.
Yeah.
And that has blown up so much of nonsense on this subject. So I would say, yes, there's negatives. And like in life, there's negative people. There's people who do really, really terrible deeds, isn't there? Yeah, and then you get people on the opposite scale who do fabulous deeds. Well, just in the afterlife is the same, but one of the things that happen is that people kind of latch on of this. So the word evil, I had somebody come to the demonstration, a knight actually came over to me and said, I just need you to know, am I going on with anything evil? I said, no. And she said, no. I went, there's nothing negative here at all. Everything's been wonderful. The spirits have connected lovely. You've all had great evidence, a great time. Not at all. And that comes from the TV.
Yeah.
And what people say. And that's why I'm always so not the word's not opinionated, but I'm quite strong over what I feel this really is.
Yeah.
And I just think that we've got to be very, very, very aware that we can blow the core things, what mediums are, so out of proportion for sensationalism, and because it's now an industry.
Well, it's what is termed as clickbait as well. These shorts and
yes,
reels you
absolutely,
get,
clickbait, of course.
and so okay. I personally, this is my personal opinion. I'm sorry, guys. I don't personally believe if you're a good person, you don't need any kind of protection. You're someone that prays and you are a service. You're a good man, David. And but I believe you don't need that yourself. It's because of the way you come at what you do, the angle you're coming from. But do you believe in that we need some kind of protection?
Well, you
apart
see,
from protecting from myself, of course, at the time.
Paul, is I believe that we as human beings don't know enough about the afterlife.
Yeah.
So when we move into mediumship, no matter what we profess, we don't really know enough about it. And anything that I don't know enough about, I will use a protective shield. Because whether I am good or not, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
What I do know is that since I've been a medium all those years, and it's a long, long time, I have not had much go on what I call a three-phase protection. But I've protected myself simply because I think to myself, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
I know what I need to know to be a proficient medium, but I don't know everything because I'm a human.
Yeah. Yeah. And following that, because that's a really interesting concept I've just heard in my head. So do you think that have you noticed the rate of near-death experiences that people are having? It is almost to a point where it's enlightening. Oh, I can't get my words out. Put my teeth in tonight. Enlightening this side of life that we're, so many stories on the internet. I mean, Professor Raymond Moody with his book After
Oh, yeah.
came out.
Yeah.
A neuropsychologist who believed it was a very American thing until we discovered people were coming into his clinic saying, I've had this near-death experience. My own father, a couple of years before he died, had his very own experience. But do you think there's a parallel with us becoming more aware? Because I remember growing up and I lived next door to a lady who was a trance medium, and her son and I were best friends. So I experienced phenomenon was off the scale. But if someone said deja vu to you, that was always a witch. It's a bit strange, that one. So there was a lot of bias. There was a lot of negative programming around, and Hollywood plays a part in that, of course.
Yeah.
But I just think there is a potential for maybe an awakening, even with the process of having near-death experiences.
I think near-death experiences have always existed. It's just now we have, really, because I know factually. I when I was a kid, I know lots of people who's had near-death experiences and spoke about it. In fact, my RE teacher when I was at school had near-death experience and told us all about it, the full class. And Actually, I don't think it's an awakening. I think it's the social media, and I think that TV and all the platforms now that we have, nothing, you know, people share this more,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
Plus, you do find so many people, you know, they'll come on and it's fascinating. It's a subject, it's out there. People want to talk about it, they want to discuss their experience, compare it, you know, because, like I said, we don't know enough about the afterlife.
Absolutely.
And so it's the biggest thing because everybody's going to move over to the other side. They've all got a ticket to rise. It kind of gives us a comfort blanket, or gives us another confirmation that, yes, there's something else, you know?
Yeah, Deborah, by the way, Deborah, I'm so sorry.
Yes, I've seen that.
I'm so sorry you've gone and had that experience.
Yeah.
For guys at home that can't see that, Deborah's put the person that murdered my son and went on to do more horrible acts is definitely
absolutely. Well, you see, Deborah, can I just say to you, very importantly, these people who do these acts, they still have to they still have to address those situations, you know. So don't think when you move to the other side it's just a easy peasy, you know, because things like that are addressed, and this is a function that the person to deal with, you know, because it's a corrective process. Because if that person chooses to come back into the world, you know, and do the same again, it's not what then the inspirers have not done their job, you know. But I can understand your sadness and your sentiment, Deborah, and you know, I hope that one day we can meet and maybe I can connect you with your son. But I will say, do the only thing I can offer you right now is to know that one day you will see him again. I can just absolutely guarantee you
that. And in my mediumship, I've had shown memories of when a loved one has been there, and the person I'm sitting for said, "Oh my God," they said their husband.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I always, for me, love is the most powerful force in the universe.
Oh, of course, it's the high vibing energy. Yeah. It's fabulous, you know.
And I absolutely, and that's what binds us all together. And I'm sure he will be there. So I hope that gives you strength, Deborah. Just to let you know, with the death of your son, there is some really good support groups out there. Okay, check that out. There's a couple in America that actually are international, actually, but check out those support groups as well. That might really help you. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Again, I'm going to stop. You know, that is so bad. Well, you know, let's hope there's justice in this world, Deborah. And I'm so sorry you've gone through that pain. I'm so sorry you've experienced that. But I do believe, like David said, I want to echo his words that you will meet him again. It will be fine. You will be together again. Just at this moment in time.
It does, yeah. It's very difficult, that. But when we another thing really, what seems to so much in these near-death experiences is that everybody seems to have virtually the same experience, which is so amazing.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
So confirming, and so confirming for you, Deborah, because you know there's so much. The thing what I find is there's so much now evidence that we continue. And you know, somebody said once to me, and it was a really pertinent question, really pertinent thing. How can this? It was a young guarantee me that life is continuous, that when my body passes, I will continue.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I can't stand here night after night, week after week, month after month, year after year, getting it there or thereabouts accurate with the public I don't know. It's not something you could possibly do.
Yeah.
It would be impossible.
Yeah.
It would be impossible to draw the face of people's loved ones. It would be impossible to direct voice people who you can't even see. You know, when I do the Facebook lives, I can't see the people. You know, I can't see much.
Yeah.
I've not got a great eye. It just wouldn't be. You couldn't have those amounts of people. You know, you know, all those people. You just couldn't do that. It would be impossible. You know, so what I say is that yes, there is an afterlife. You know, that's what people could never understand with my mum, Paul, because there was nobody as Phil will tell you on it. There's nobody as close as me as my mum. We looked after her for 14 years. She lived with us, and years after before that, you know. And when she passed, there was no tears. I wasn't crying. I couldn't cry because I watched her get out of her skin, and then 2 minutes after, I came into the office, atoned, and had a full-blown conversation with her. She couldn't speak for 6 years before she passed.
That is beautiful.
So I can't. If I was the lying public or making myself.
Yeah,
so
that's lovely, David. That's and that's the unique thing about our perspective. Is it for me? I've lost my dad. I lost a good friend of mine. It was like a brother, and it's only because I have that faith. I know that life continues. It's helped me so much.
Absolutely. I mean, I lost my one of my absolute best friends just last month, and was my Scottish
I'm
promoter.
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was on the phone to her, and she was she was like my sister. Yeah. And I put the phone down, and as I put the phone down, a car hit her and killed her instantly.
Oh my gosh.
And I can honestly say, at that moment, I was just dropped on.
Yeah.
But on the Tuesday, we chatted.
Beautiful.
I told her family, the clothes, what she needed, where they were in her. I didn't know all about her and what she wanted and where they were and what to do. And they found her. And it's like speaking on the phone with her.
Yeah.
So I can't. It'd be such a difficult. It'd be such a disappointment for myself, if I was making it up as I went along, or doing it to just write a book, or
absolutely
to get myself a car, or you know what I'm saying. I'd be so disappointed with myself, really.
But it's a way of life for you, though, David. It's ingrained in who you are. You have a natural ability of a medium, so it's a way of life, right? It's like having an arm. It's there. It's part of who you are.
Yeah, I mean, one of she worked, and works in the training the Vatican. I'm thinking one day will be a pope, and we met one day in the Little Chef for coffee, and we had a chat, and he said to me, "You know, David," he said, "you have a gift." He said, and I know what you're like because I know you. And he said, I know what you are.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's very, very kind of you, you know. And he just said, you must never compromise yourself with that. He said, because I know, you know, what you're like, and I woke up. It is an ability, and that's where it stays. It's never going to be used or abused, because it just will. I just won't tolerate that, you know. That's how I am, and I can't help it, you know. I really can't. It's just like you said, it's my life. It's the way I live. You know, it just is. It's just who I am. Who I am, Paul.
Yeah. David, can I ask you a question? We have taken up so much of your time. Kate Hartson.
All right, it's okay. You've got me. So don't worry.
Okay, Kate Hartshorn. Sorry, Kate, I mispronounced your name. Thank you for your time, David. Really nice to hear more about your life. I love you loads. She's put.
Oh,
that's very lovely. You. Yeah, just be careful because his wife's listening. All right. Anyway, David, Lorraine, David, absolutely brilliant. David, I'm going to ask you for some inspiration, something that can give people. Is there anything in you that inspires you? Is there a poem? Is there something you can inspire people to go about their daily lives tomorrow to help them? Is there something that really helped you, whether it's from a passing, whether it's just inspiration from spirit? Is there something you could share with us that would help people?
Well, I always think, for me personally, in my life, and as I say, I'm not perfect or God's gift to anything. Or I say that if in my life, if somebody does something wrong to me, then what I do is I find it within myself, sometimes immediately, sometimes eventually, to forgive them. And I also can be hot-headed and impatient.
Yeah.
But then I readdress the fault and put right anything with anyone. I go back over it and put right anything that I feel I may have done wrong. And then I can sleep at night. If there's anything that I'm not happy with in the world, I don't beat on about it. I just don't go there. I just don't watch it. You know?
Yeah.
And if you'll always know this, Paul, if you ever see me, if there's anything I'm not wanting to hear, I'll just say, oh, really? and then I'll just change the subject. Because I can't help it. Because it's just in me, you see. And I find myself sometimes saying more or really than anything else. So if I do follow with my mum and I do get the Alzheimer's, I'll probably just know those three words. Oh really? Oh really? Because that's how I am. You know, and that's what I do. And yeah, that's the honest truth, really. And I do. I try to. I don't. I'm not always trying to say I'm this and I'm that, or you know. I used to go mad at Helen. Helen was my lovely person, my closest friend who used to go. I used to go mad. She used to say, "Oh, David, best spirit medium in the world," and I used to say, "Don't say that, Helen." Look how people's
What accent was that, David? Was that Australian or was that Scottish?
I don't know what it was. But she's not like that. And I used to say to her, "Don't say things like that,"
Yeah.
you know. And because you know, I'm just me, and I can only be me, and I'll never. That's the thing with me as well. I can't. You know, somebody said to me, "Would you love to change?" No, I wouldn't like to change. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. One last question. We've been going for almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost.
Oh, have
2
we?
hours.
2 hours. Oh gosh, I'm a Tommy
me too.
talker.
The pair of us together, we're gonna be here all night. So I'm definitely gonna come and watch. I'd love to come and meet you one day, David. I really would.
Oh,
but David, I'd like to just shake your hand because you're such a nice man, and a lot of people are saying that the same thing. So, David, before we have to go to bed with our hot cups of cocoa and our hot water bottles. Okay, well, it's always cold in Norfolk and raining. So, anyway, actually, it's been a good day today, so I'm not going to curse it. Anyway, what's next for you, my friend? What is next? What's coming up?
Well, I've got Hold the Front Page with Nish Kumar and Josh Widdicombe. That's coming up very soon. I've got a documentary that's following me around Spain. I'm just auditioning for a couple of TV roles.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's all in that. The mediumship. I'll be doing my events 3 or 4 times a week, all up to Christmas, and my one-to-ones. I've got my book launch. I would really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a concert together, which I'm going to run, me singing, I'm going to run before my demonstrations. And then I'm going to put a concert together for Alzheimer's.
Oh, beautiful.
And that. But I raise awareness for Pathfinder dogs as well.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I, you know, I'm really dedicated to that because, of course, it was a patient there. When he passed, sadly, they had no patron, and they asked me would I do it, and I'm a bit non-committal because I have so much. I don't like to make a promise I can't keep.
Yes.
I said I would do it, and I've enjoyed it. I do my best. I'm not always there. I can't be, but I do my best, and I'm happy to do that. But they're kind of the things what are coming up, and I'm going to start my Christmas shopping next month, and I might start Christmas tree next month. Because by the time I get to December, I've been so busy.
Yeah,
at least I'll have it then.
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing worse than lastminute.com.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazon, the invention of Amazon, have saved many a man.
Well, listen, I'm very like Richard will tell you, but I kind of what I tend to try and do is I kind of pick things up as I go along. But Angie's really good at it. She does all the does all the bits and shopping and stuff like that. She loves it. I mean, I love it. I really love it. I love, I'll go out and spend some money on my niece and my nephews and get them big bags of sacks of stuff.
Oh,
and then they come to us on New Year's Day, and it's like a madhouse, and everybody opens all the packages, and it's fab, really.
That sounds good.
And the dogs go wild.
Well, David and Chrissy's put, David is a great supporter of Pathfinder dogs. Yeah. He does a lot for charities, an absolutely amazing kind with a big heart. And David Traynor, that sums you up. Tonight's interview has been lovely. I kind of feel like, remember that Yes, we've been on a bit of a journey, but your story is wonderful, and thank you for sharing it with so many of us tonight. Della as well, she keeps sharing it with so many people. Della, you're going to get my SPTV badge. And guys, we will see you back here in 2 weeks' time. But for now, David Traynor, it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to interview you. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you.